Zerla had been trained in diplomacy, war de-escalation, and 7 forms of ancient alien etiquette. But none of that prepared her for babysitting a 6-year-old human boy. She stood inside the silver corridors of the Earth's Alliance vessel Harmony. Star, her long violet robes brushing the floor. Her skin shimmered under the lights, glowing faintly with the calming hue of her species, the Virulin. She had been assigned this task as punishment for speaking out of turn during a peace summit.
One
Human child, she had said to herself this morning. What trouble could he possibly cause? She was wrong. Leo, the child in question, had been quiet for the first 10 minutes. He had big brown eyes, a mop of messy hair, and wore a shirt with a cartoon dragon on it. He didn't talk much, but he smiled a lot that made Zerla nervous. She watched him walk around the lounge area of the command deck. It was supposed to be secure. It wasn't. Leo, Zerla said softly, folding her arms. Stay near me. Leo blinked at her, then pointed at a glowing red panel on the far wall. What's that? He asked, already walking toward it. That, Zerla said quickly, stepping forward, is not for touching, but it's shiny. Zerla sighed. It's a fire control interface. It controls. It's very dangerous things. Leo turned around and gave her a wide grin. So it's important, right? Fairy, she said. Cool. And then, like it was the most normal thing in the world, Leo pressed the glowing red circle at the center of the panel. Zerla gasped. The panel hissed open with a metallic sound. A deep tone echoed through the hallway. Lights turned red. Symbols on the wall flickered alive. Zerla's glow turned from calm blue to startled orange. Oh, stars, she whispered, rushing toward him. The room's voice system came online. Authorization accepted. Weapon bay primed. Awaiting command. Input. WHAT. Zerla shouted. No. Cancel that. Leo just watched in awe as the ceiling opened to reveal a hidden command projector. Holograms of missile trajectories danced in front of them. Cool, he whispered again. Zerla grabbed him and pulled him behind her. Why did you touch that? You said it's important, Leo replied, blinking innocently. Zerla frantically tapped the panel with her long fingers. Nothing responded to her commands. Access denied. Awaiting command, Captain. Luo. The voice said his name. Her head snapped. Toward him. It's using your name. Leo shrugged. I spelled it when I pressed the buttons. Zerla stared at the child. You typed in your name and pressed everything? Like a game. The door to the control room burst open. 3 alien security officers stormed in, all armed, all looking confused and tense. Diplomat Zerla, one of them said. What have you done? I didn't do anything. Zerla replied, pointing at Leo. He activated the system. Security officer's eyes widened. That system hasn't responded to anyone in years, not even the captain. It responded to him, Zerla said. They all looked at the small boy now climbing up a chair and poking at more lights. Leo, stop, Zerla shouted. He paused. But I'm trying to see what plasma torpedo means. The officers froze. Zerla rushed forward, picked Leo up from the chair, and held him tightly. No more pressing things. Leo laughed. You're funny when you panic. I am not panicking, she said, glowing brighter. The computer chimed again. All systems locked. To Captain Leo, mission ready. Targeting system, awaiting final voice command. One officer whispered, This ... This human child has ship command authority. Zerla's hands trembled. She stared down at the boy in her arms, smiling, innocent, and totally unaware of the chaos he'd just caused. I was told human children were soft, polite, and sleepy, she muttered. Leo grinned. Nope, that's babies. I'm 6. As alarms continued to blink across the ceiling, an alien officer scrambled to contact command. Zerla sat down slowly on the bench, holding Leo close. This was supposed to be an easy task, she whispered. To herself, but deep down, she knew. This was just the beginning, and Leo was already eyeing the next shiny button on the wall. Asterisk, The alien command room was silent except for the soft, blinking hum of systems now responding to a 6-year-old. Human child Zirla stood frozen, her glow shifting between shock blue and deep shame violet. Behind her, Leo sat cross-legged on the floor, humming a tune to himself while playing with a holographic star map. His tiny hands were busy pinching and spinning whole galaxies, dragging stars like toys, zooming in and out of classified military zones as if they were part of a bedtime story. A trembling officer finally broke the silence. Command hierarchy has shifted. Captain status is Leo. Zirla turned slowly. What do you mean captain status? He's a child. Who still asks if cookies can be dinner. The officer swallowed. He has full access. The ship accepted his input. We can't override it. Not even Central Command can. Zirla walked over to Leo and knelt down. Leo, sweet one, you have to give control back. This ship is not a toy. It carries over 300 lives. Glanced up, tilting his head. I didn't break anything. No, she whispered. You became something. With a casual flick of his fingers, Leo summoned the ship's main projection dome. It enveloped the room in a vast hologram of the galaxy, highlighting paths, wormholes, enemy patrols. In one particular red-labeled zone, Leo pointed at it, that one. I want to go there. Zirla stared at the red sector. That is not a tourist location. That is the Varrock Expanse. It's a restricted zone. It's full of spatial storms, ancient wrecks, and no one's returned alive in centuries. I saw it in the briefing logs, Leo said simply. The one you didn't know I downloaded. You accessed classified files. He nodded, proud. Yeah, I just guessed the codes. They were easy. Expelling banana backwards. Zirla groaned. The ship's AI pinged. New destination confirmed. Calculating fastest route to Varrock Expanse. Departure in 90 seconds. The officer scrambled, trying to shut down systems, reroute engines, or signal external command. Nothing worked. Every command bounced back. Captain override. Leo, access denied. Zirla grabbed Leo by the shoulders. This isn't a game anymore. Leo, there are things out there. Old things. You don't understand what you're waking up. I want to see it, he said, softer now. It called to me. In the files. In the voice logs, there was this sound, like singing, and it said my name. You're imagining it. No, he said, eyes wide and too calm for his age. It said Leo, in a really old voice. I thought maybe someone needed help. A breath caught. Did it sound like? Stone rubbing against stars? She asked. Leo nodded slowly. Zirla stood up fast. We need to get off this ship, but it was too late. The engines fired. Harmony Star broke out of its station orbit like a beast unleashed. Alarms rang throughout the hangar. Other ships tried to hail them. Nothing went through. Zirla felt the shift in gravity as the ship tilted into a sharp course toward the forbidden zone. On the bridge, officers tried to restrain Leonot to harm, but to deactivate his accidental authority. But every time they tried to pull him away, the AI said, "Warning. Disturbing the captain may result in system lockdown." And it meant it. The ship sealed the bridge. Lights dimmed. Shields activated. And in the center of the room, a new interface opened, glowing. Column of symbols, ancient, unreadable. Except to Leo. He stood up, walked over, and reached out his hand. Ziola shouted, "Leo, stop!" But it was too late again. As soon as his skin touched the light, the entire ship changed. It hummed, not like a machine, but like a choir, something alive. The lights turned to soft gold. The walls began to shift, as if revealing layers long buried. And in every section of the ship, forgotten markings appeared. Even the engineers in the lower decks froze, staring as symbols unknown to modern language danced across metal. Then the AI spoke again, only this time wasn't the AI. It was something older. "Welcome, child of the seed. You have returned." Zirla took 2 steps back, her glow now completely drained to a pale gray. What? Did it just call him? Leo turned to her with a puzzled smile. Does this mean I get to push more buttons? She wanted to scream. Instead, she just muttered under her breath, I should have taken the diplomatic mission to the lava planet. Deep down, her fear was growing. Something ancient had awakened, and the only one it was listening to was a mischievous little boy named Leo. Zirla couldn't stop shaking. She stood stiffly in the center of the bridge, arms locked behind her back, staring out at the growing shadow ahead. A colossal stretch of deep space where stars seemed to vanish and the void bent unnaturally. It was like the universe had been torn and badly stitched back together. This was the Varrock expanse, and they were flying straight into it. Stop the ship, she whispered for the third time. The AI responded, voice distant and strange. Control. Locked to Captain Leo. External overrides are invalid. Leo sat in the captain's chair with his legs swinging freely over the edge. He was eating fruit chews. The sticky red juice stained his fingers as he smiled. Look, he said cheerfully, pointing at the star map. That spinning one looks like a candy. Let's go there next. Zirla spun toward him. We are in a forbidden system, Leo. Forbidden means very, very bad. He blinked. But it didn't say why it's forbidden. What if it's just because people are scared of it for no reason? Zirla's glowing skin dimmed to a deep orange frustration, fear, and something else she couldn't name. Forward slowly. This place is not a playground. The last 5 ships that entered this system were never heard from again. No signals, no debris, no return. Leo took another bite of fruit. Maybe they didn't want to come back. Ship passed the outer ring of the expanse. The view screen flickered. Static rolled across the sensors. Then something odd happened. All sound dropped to silence. Total, unnatural silence. Zirla's ears buzzed. Even the hum of the engines disappeared. She opened her mouth but heard nothing. The lights inside the ship dimmed. The walls vibrated with something unseen, like a distant heartbeat. Then came the song. It didn't come through the speakers. It came through everything. Through the walls. Through the seats. Through their bones, a low, ancient sound like voices humming in stone. Layered and heavy, as if the stars themselves were mourning. It grew louder, twisting through the halls. And beneath it, a voice whispering one word over and over again, Leo. Zirla grabbed the edge of a console to steady herself. Do you hear that? Leo stood up slowly. It's calling again, like before. She stepped in front of him. We're turning. Around, I am overriding this. No, he said. Zirla froze. No. Leo walked to the center of the room. They're not angry, they're waiting. They think I'm someone else, or maybe I'm the first one to ever answer. The lights pulsed gold again. Then the ship began descending slow, controlled and steady toward a planet no human or alien chart had ever confirmed. The planet looked ancient. Cracked surface. Greenish clouds swirling slowly. Rings of broken ships and floating stones circled above its atmosphere. Zirla whispered, There's a temple. Indeed, rising from the surface was a massive black pyramid. It glowed faintly. With the same symbols Leo had touched earlier, the ship, acting on its own, locked course. One of the officers finally found his voice. Diplomat Zirla, we should prepare for possible planetary landing. Automated protocol is guiding descent. Zirla turned toward him. Evacuate everyone not necessary to core function. Get Leo somewhere safe. But before anyone moved, the floor lit beneath Leo's feet. Circular glyph formed, and Leo vanished in a flash of light. Zirla screamed, Leo. Her voice echoed, but there was no reply. Then the main screen changed. A live feed, possible yet clear. Leo was standing at the base of the Black Temple, alone. The stone doors were opening without him touching anything. The song grew louder. Zirla reached out toward the screen. Get him back. Beam him out. Do something. No signal lock, the officer said. He's inside a structure blocking scans. The crew was helpless, but Zirla, she was not without. Another word. She stormed toward the launch bay. Open the drop pod. I'm going down there. The officer blocked her path. That zone could kill you. It's never been mapped. The planet could tear your atoms apart. Zirla's glow burned. Bright now, pure gold, the color of unshakable will. "He's just a child," she said, "but I am his protector now." She stepped into the launch pod, gripping the controls with shaking fingers. "I will not leave him to face this alone." As the pod dropped through the planet's broken sky, flames licking the sides and energy pulsing from the pyramid like thunder, one truth hit her harder than gravity. This wasn't about a babysitting mission anymore. It was about whatever destiny had awoken the moment. Leo pressed that button, and she was no longer just a witness. She was now part of it. The air on the planet was thick like syrup, filled with green mist that stung the eyes and clung to skin like wet cloth. Zirla stumbled out of the drop pod, coughing as she activated her protective field. It buzzed faintly around her, a shimmer of blue shielding her from the choking atmosphere. The black pyramid stood before her, taller than any structure she had seen, stretching toward a sky where lightning rolled without sound. Symbols carved into the stone pulsed with light, each beat echoing like a drum in her chest. But none of that mattered. What mattered was Leo, and he was already inside. Zirla pressed her hand to the entrance wall. It didn't move. "Didn't open, Leo?" she shouted. "Can you hear me? Answer me." Silence. Then suddenly the doors opened, not to her touch, not to her voice, but on their own. Slowly, almost respectfully, she stepped inside. The interior was vast and silent, lit by glowing symbols floating midair. The walls shimmered as if made from liquid stone. Columns rose like ancient guardians, carved with faces of creatures long dead. At the center of the chamber stood Leo, and he wasn't alone. Floating around him were dozens of golden orbs, each spinning slowly, humming softly. It projected memories. Fragments of history, images of stars being born and dying, of war, of peace, of terrible silence. And Leo, he understood them. Zerala took one step forward, then froze. He was speaking, but it wasn't English. It wasn't any modern language she knew. It was older, far older. Her skin dimmed with awe and fear as she realized he was speaking. The first tongue, the language of the builders, the ones who had vanished over 10,000 years ago. "No one speaks that," she whispered. "No one even remembers what it sounds like." But Leo did. His voice echoed through the chamber, soft and calm. As he recited sounds no child should know, the orbs responded, glowing brighter, forming patterns in the air, drawing closer to him. Zirla finally stepped into the circle. "Leo," she said gently, "what are you doing?" He turned to her, his eyes different now. Still innocent, still young, but with a depth that didn't belong in any 6-year-old child. "I'm listening," he said. "To what?" "Them? Them who?" Leo looked up. "The ones who built all this. The ones who left. They're not gone. They're sleeping. They've been dreaming, waiting for someone to answer." Zirla shook her head. "How do you know their language? How do you understand any of this?" He held out a hand, and one of the glowing orbs floated to her. Inside it, she saw a memory of Earth, a cave. A human baby left crying beside a glowing crystal embedded in the ground. And surrounding that baby were carvings. In the first tongue, Zirla's voice trembled. "That baby is you." Leo nodded. "I don't remember it, but they do." He turned to the central altar, where a pillar of light now reached into the sky above. The storm clouds parted, revealing a beam of gold stretching from the planet to the stars. "The temple was locked," Leo said. "Only someone with builder DNA could open it. That's why they never came back." Zirla stared at him in disbelief. "Are you saying you're part builder?" Leo shrugged. Maybe they just left something in me, like a key." As they spoke, the temple shook from beneath the floor. Massive stone tiles began to slide apart. Rising from the ground came statues, not statues, figures, tall, armored, and ancient. Not alive, but not dead either. Stasis units. Each holding one of the builders. There were hundreds of them, silent, still waiting, and every one of them opened their eyes. The moment Leo looked at them, Zedallah stumbled back. They're waking up. The one in front stepped forward. His face was hidden by an ornate mask, but his body glowed with the same markings Leo had unknowingly drawn in the air hours earlier. He knelt before a child. "Welcome, heir of the return," the builder said, in a voice like wind through stone. "The song has reached its end. Rise, as you have commanded." Leo looked down at his own hands. "I didn't mean to command anything." Zirla stepped between them. "He's a child. He didn't choose this. Whatever you're planning, stop it." The builder rose slowly. "The child is the door." "We are only the answer," Leo whispered. "What's the question?" The builder turned to the storm above. "Who will lead the galaxy through what comes next?" Outside, the sky turned red. A new fleet had entered the system. Not human, not friendly. Zirla looked up toward the heavens and whispered, "Oh stars, what have we walked into?" The builders were waking, and so were their enemies. Leo stared up at the towering builder, feeling the weight of hundreds of ancient eyes upon him. The temple vibrated with power stone and light pulsed together, as if every wall and column was breathing, stretching awake after 1,000 years of sleep. But Leo's heart hammered for another reason. He could feel Zirla's fear, almost as much as his own. The air trembled with the builders' voices layered in harmony, ancient and strange. Leo took a small step backward and reached for Zirla's hand. She squeezed his fingers, grounding him as much as herself. Around them, the circle of awakened builders held their strange weapons, but none pointed at the boy or his alien guardian. Instead, they bowed their heads. A single builder, taller than the rest and marked with a golden crest, knelt before Leo. In a voice that echoed deep in the ground, he said, "The key has returned. The crown node is awake." Leo blinked. "What's a crown node?" The golden builder gestured. The floor in front of them shimmered, revealing a holographic map of the galaxy. In its center, a glowing crystal, exactly like the one Leo wore on a cord around his neck since the day he was found as a baby, hovered over a cluster of ancient ruins. Zirla gasped. "That's your stone. You've had it all along," Leo nodded. Touching the crystal, "My mom said it kept me safe. She found me with it, back on Earth." The golden builder's mask glimmered. "Long ago, the galaxy was united. Her kind watched over the stars. But greed, war, and fear broke the song. So we built the crown node's keys that could repair what was lost, restore balance, awaken those in need. Only someone pure, unbound by past wars, could awaken the node. That is you, Leo." Leo's throat felt tight. "I'm not special. Just a kid. I don't know what any of this means." The builder bent lower, almost gentle. "It means you choose what happens now. You can command us or send us back to sleep, but you must decide quickly. The darkness has sensed your awakening." As if summoned by his words, the ground shook. Outside, the sky roared as a fleet of dark alien ships, sleek, jagged, and bristling with weapons, descended through the clouds. Their insignia blazed crimson. Zirla's hand shook. "They're from the Vale Empire," she whispered. "They destroy everything ancient. They want builder tech for war." Leo felt panic rising, but then a strange calm came over him. The builders had waited for thousands of years. Maybe they trusted him for a reason. Zirla knelt by Leo, voice trembling. "We have to hide. We can't fight them. You're only 6, Leo. I'm just a babysitter. This is too much." But Leo shook his head. "If we run, they'll hurt more people. Maybe I can help. I don't want to fight, but I don't want to see anyone get hurt. Not you, not the builders, not even the bad guys, if I can help it." The temple's lights flared, brighter than ever. The builders all knelt, their weapons lowering, their faces shining with a hope Zirla had never seen. The golden builder's hand hovered over Leo's crystal. "The node will listen to your heart." Suddenly, images poured into Leo's mind, memories, not his own. He saw the builders' first home, their fall, the day they decided to hide their technology. He saw children like himself, laughing in the gardens of long-lost worlds. He saw fear, hope, and endless longing for peace. A deep voice echoed inside his skull. What do you wish for, Leo? Leo's eyes welled with tears. I wish no one had to be scared anymore. The crystal glowed white-hot, and the entire temple shook as beams of light shot upward, out through the pyramid and into the sky. All across the system, the Vale Empire's ships powered down, every weapon and engine flickered off, frozen in place. The builders stood, silent, watching. Zirla hugged Leo close, awestruck. You stopped them. You protected us. Leo buried his face in her shoulder, exhausted. I just wished really hard. Above, the Crimson Fleet drifted powerless, caught in the silent music of the ancient crown node. For a moment, even the Vale Empire's war-hardened commanders fell, quiet, staring down at a single human child on a forgotten world, holding the galaxy's oldest secret in his tiny hand. But in the shadows beyond the fleet, something darker stirred, something that had been waiting, watching for a new heir. Zirla, eyes wide, felt the chill run through her bones. This was not the end. It was just the first move. And Leo, whether he liked it or not, was at the heart of it all. Smoke drifted above the temple as the Vale Empire's warships hung frozen in the bruised sky, caught in the silent grip of the builder's ancient power. Down below, the temple pulsed with quiet energy, shadows from the standing builders flickering. Across Leo and Zirla's faces, Leo could barely keep his eyes open. He clutched Zirla's hand as the afterglow of the crown node faded from the crystal around his neck. The builders stood watchful, silent and unmoving, awaiting their next command. Outside, the enemy's ships remained powerless, but the sense of threat was far from gone. Zirla knelt beside Leo, her voice soft but urgent. You saved us, Leo, but they won't stay trapped forever. There will be more. The Vale Empire. They always want what they can't have. Leo looked up, his small face serious. We can't let them hurt anyone, or take the builder's power. One of the builders stepped forward, its golden crest shining in the strange half-light. The node has chosen you, child of the seed. What is your command? Leo bit his lip, thinking hard. For a moment he was just a kid again, lost, tired. Missing home? Can't you just make them go away? The builder's eyes glowed faint blue. We could destroy them. But the node only amplifies the will of its heir. If you wish for mercy, we will not harm them. Zirla squeezed his hand. You have a choice, Leo. You can show them a better way if you want. Or you can send them a warning. Leo took a deep breath and stood. He looked at the circle of ancient warriors, then up at the frozen ships hanging above the clouds. I want them to know they can't take what's not theirs. But I don't want to hurt anyone, not even them. At that, the crown node shone brighter, sending a ripple of power through the builders. The leader nodded. As you wish. The message will be delivered. With a soft pulse, a beam of light shot from the temple's top and swept over the Vale Empire's fleet. In each ship, the crew saw visions, memories of lost worlds, children laughing, and the cost of endless war. Their weapons, once humming with violence, felt heavy and useless. Some wept, some raged, but all understood the warning. Back in the temple, Leo sagged with relief, but a new tension filled the air. The builders gathered around him, forming a protective circle from the shadows beyond the chamber. Another figure emerged, Dalian, tall and sharp-eyed, wrapped in dark robes. Zirla braced herself, moving in front of Leo. Who are you? She demanded. The figure smiled, a sad, ancient smile. I am the Herald. I have watched the node for eons, waiting for its call. The galaxy is changing, and old enemies awaken. You, boy, are at the heart of this storm. Leo stepped forward, surprising everyone. What do you want? To warn you, the Herald said, voice echoing. The power you have woken is not the only thing that slumbers. There are other things that hunger for this light. The Vale Empire was only the first to hear your song. Zirla glanced at Leo, her glow flickering between fear and pride. What should we do? The Herald's gaze softened. You must gather allies. There are those who would stand with your other outcasts, other children of forgotten songs. The builders can defend. You? But only if you lead them. The node will open doors. But it will also bring enemies. Leo felt a shiver run through him. Will you help us? The herald nodded. For now, but the journey ahead will not be easy. You are more than a boy, Leo. You are hope for the builders, for Zirla, for all who have forgotten the power of kindness. As the herald vanished back into the shadows, the temple shook again. Above, the Vale Empire's ships slowly powered up, retreating in fear, leaving the ancient world behind. Zirla knelt and hugged Leo close. You did it, Leo. You saved us all. Leo clung to her, eyes squeezed shut. I was scared. So, was I? Zirla whispered, her glow turning warm gold. But you didn't let it stop you. The builders bowed their heads. The crown node pulsed gently, casting soft light across the chamber, a beacon in the dark galaxy. Outside, as the first rays of sunlight broke through the storm, Leo realized something new. His life would never be ordinary again. But with Zirla at his side and the builders behind him, maybe, just maybe, he could face whatever the galaxy sent his way. And somewhere, in the silent space beyond the clouds, new eyes watched and waited, because the song had started and nothing could put it back to sleep. The temple of the builders was quiet now, bathed in gentle gold light as the last echoes of the song faded. For the first time since the chaos began, Leo and Zirla stood in silence, hand in hand, surrounded by ancient warriors who now looked to a child for hope. High above, the Vale Empire's fleet slipped away, their leaders haunted by the visions sent by the crown node all over the galaxy.
Ow.
Whispers began to spread of a new era of ancient powers reborn, of the day a child had made the greatest warships of the age turn and run. Zirla knelt and faced Leo, brushing dust from his face. It's over, Leo, at least for now. She smiled, her glow a soft gold that warmed the cold stone. I knew you were special the moment I met you. Leo smiled shyly and looked up at the circle of builders, still silent and waiting. Can I go home now? The golden builder stepped forward, kneeling once more. We are always welcome among us, heir of the node, but the choice is yours. Will you lead, or will you return to the world of children and dreams? Leo thought of home, of his small bed on earth, the soft voice of the woman who had raised him, the simple joys of being unknown. He looked at Zirla, who had stood by him, brave, even when she was afraid. I don't want to be a king, he said softly. I just want people to be safe. I just want to go home. But if you need me, you can call. I'll come back. I promise. The builder bowed his head. The node will answer when you are ready. A light shimmered in the temple, wrapping around Leo and Zirla. The world seemed to fold, the air humming with possibility. In a heartbeat, they stood once more aboard the Harmony Starback in the familiar corridors, surrounded by stunned officers who gasped when they saw the two return. Zirla's glow burst bright gold. She knelt and hugged Leo tight, tears of relief and pride on her cheeks. You did it, Leo. You saved the ship. You saved everyone. All around, screens lit up with news from across the galaxy, reports of builder symbols appearing on distant worlds, of ancient ruins pulsing with new light, of fleets calling a truce to search for meaning in the visions. The node had sent them. The captain of the Harmony Star, gruff alien with silver stripes, strode forward and knelt before Leo, just like the builders had. You are always welcome on this ship, Captain Leo, he said, voice choked with emotion. Leo blushed and looked down at his shoes. Can I have a cookie? The bridge erupted in laughter, real, joyous, free. For the next hours, Leo and Zirla answered questions, telling their story in simple words, watched with awe by every member of the crew. The node's crystal still hung around Leo's neck, faintly warm, as if the builder's hope still lived inside it. At last, when the ship was safe and the story was done, Leo found Zirla alone at the viewport, gazing out at the stars. Are you going back to your planet? He asked, a bit sadly. Zirla smiled, kneeling beside him. Not yet. Someone has to keep you out of trouble. Leo grinned. You're the best babysitter ever. Even if you get scared of buttons. She laughed, her glow twinkling. And you're the bravest child I've ever met. They watched the stars together in silence. Ships moved slowly across the void, new alliances forming, old hatreds softening. Somewhere out there, the builders watched too, awake for the first time in 1,000 years and waiting patiently for Leo's call. Before long, Harmony Star returned Leo home. He ran into the arms of his adoptive mother, who never truly knew what her child had done to change the fate of the galaxy. Zirla, now honored among her people, was invited to speak before the Galactic Council, her words sparking a new era of peace and Leo. He grew up sometimes feeling ordinary, sometimes not, always carrying the tiny crystal and the memory of a temple deep in the stars. Whenever trouble stirred in the galaxy, whenever the song whispered to him in his dreams, he knew. He could answer on, so did Zirla, who became his friend and family for life. The galaxy watched and waited. Old darkness still lingered, but now hope glowed as surely as the node's gentle light. For in the end, it wasn't just the builders who woke up. It was everyone who believed that kindness and courage, even from the smallest and most unlikely among us, could change the universe forever.